Clello. So, first of all, I'm just going to say that if you are only here for the ode to people who sit next to you on the bus or train or any mode of public transportation when there is an open seat, skip ahead to whatever I put there. If you want to hear me quickly explain where I've been and that shit, then, continue watching. So I have a problem. I think we all know what my problem is with certain spirits. But I was taking a break because I was like, the last time I decided to talk about this publicly, people were really cruel, and I just don't feel like dealing with that. So I'm just going to go away until I'm better. But then I realized I'll never be quote unquote better or all good or whatever the cluck that means, because I don't know what that means. I feel like we're all a mess. We're always clucking up and having issues. And last time I said that we're all a mess, people got really triggered by that because they were like, you're not better than us because you tell your life on the Facebook. I never said that. I never said I was better than you. I don't know what we are all a mess could possibly mean aside from we are all a mess. Clidiots. So I'm just going to start off right off the bat by saying that this is not going to be a closeted clidio. This is not going to be like, oh my God, PMA, let's all just share our feelings and hug each other. No. That's not what I'm about. People love to say, you're the most negative vlogger, even though I don't really... Do I vlog? I don't know if I would call it that. I mean, I don't like take my camera with me every single place I go. I mean, mostly, but I'm not like showing my whole day. Isn't that what vlogging is? Whatever, not the point. The point is people love to talk about how negative I am, and I'm like, usually I try to combat that, but cluck it, I'm negative. I'm angry, I'm pissed off, and I'm not the most positive person. And I'm tired of acting like that's a bad thing because it's not. So lately I've been extra angry because I am completely clear-headed, if you know what I'm saying. And I have all this pent-up rage inside of me, and I was like, I'm just gonna stay away from the internet for a little while because I don't want to pop off on people. I don't want to get into petty arguments. Cluck it, I don't care! Someone theorized that I've been gone because my internet got cut off. It's like, are you that dependent on the internet that you cannot fathom someone taking a break, that you think that they couldn't pay their bills because you're that addicted to the internet? Yes, I'm saying that. That's when you know you're clucked up. Because I know I spend too much damn time online. Even during my break, I was still online. Like, I'm not trying to act like I'm 100% like, oh, I was just taking a cleanse and I didn't use the internet at all. I'm hooked. But damn. Not that hooked that I think people who take a break, oh, their internet service must have gone down. No, good for you. Please take a break for your own goddamn mental well-being because it's ridiculous how much time we spend on the internet. So, I say all this to say, hi, I'm not going anywhere. I was planning on taking a really, really, really long break until I got better, but I don't know what that means for the second time. That's probably not happening. But I am clear-headed and I'm ready to rant because if I don't, I'm about to fight somebody in the streets because people are so stupid. So here we go. The ode to people who decide that for some reason they can't sit in an empty seat on public transportation. So I have been going to therapy lately, believe it or not. I was on my way to therapy, which is probably maybe a good thing, I guess. It's like, okay, this gives me something to talk about, I suppose. Anyway, I live in Sweden, if you weren't aware. People can be passive-aggressive here. People can be somewhat obnoxious at times, but what I really appreciate is that when there's a bunch of empty seats on the bus, people don't sit next to you. They really don't for the most part. So when it happens, sometimes I'm like, fine, everybody gets one. But sometimes, like lately, I'm just not in a good mood. And I'm just like, what's wrong with you? So this is partially like a story, not really, it's very brief, but it's also just like me genuinely wondering why people do that. I need an answer because I don't understand what's going on in your brain to make you think that you can sit next to me invading my space when there are a million seats open around you? Why? It's stupid. Do you want the chance that I smell like fucking beef? Do you want the chance that you're allergic to beef and now you're sick? I don't think there's... Sorry, I don't think there's like a beef allergy that would make it like, oh, you smell the beef and you get sick. Peanuts, whatever. I have peanuts in my pocket maybe. I don't know. Why take the risk? Whatever, this happened to me recently, which is why I'm so heated about it. I'm on my way to therapy. I'm sitting on the bus. It's really empty, thank the Lord. And I put my bag on the seat when it's empty. When it gets full, I take my bag off because I'm like, okay, you know, like people need to sit down. Fine, I'm not a klitsch, believe it or not. And I have my bag on the seat, which is why this story is extra irritating, because what the cluck. So this person of manhood comes onto the bus and comes towards me, and I'm thinking, you know, there's a lot of seats. He's probably gonna sit on the one that was right, you know, there's empty seats directly across from me. There are empty seats in front of me. There are empty seats diagonal to me. There are empty seats behind me. There are empty seats pretty much on the entire bus, except for like maybe 2 or 3. No, this gentle fellow decided to stand and look at my bag. He came up to my seat and looked at my bag. The kind of thing you do when the bus is packed and you see one empty seat and some klitsch has the nerve to put her shit down on the bag and you look like... He gave me that look. So I, you know, turned with my clown face. By the way, I go out in public like this. So I was really confused because most people avoid the cluck out of me. They're like, oh, she's insane. You know, clown clopression is unfortunately real. But anyway, he gave me that look and I was just like, I probably really made that face. I don't know, honestly. I was just really taken aback and it was awkward. I don't know what I'm gonna say. Like, get the fuck away from me. Like, I mean, I try to be polite. So I moved my bag begrudgingly. I was not shy about, you know, being like, this is weird and I'm not understanding what's happening here. But I was like, you know, maybe he has OCD and he needs to sit in this seat. You know, maybe that's what's going on. I have OCD and I mean, we all have different versions. So I don't know. His was that he had to sit next to a clown. Mine is usually that I need a clean seat, you know, but I don't think that was the case because we're on the bus, we're riding along, he's sitting next to me. And then in about 2 stops or so, it was quite a long bus ride because I live pretty far from the hospital because we moved recently. Not really part of the story. I don't know why I included that. Don't dox me. Anyway, so a few stops later, he gets up and he moves to an empty seat. So I'm just like, whatever, it's over now, you know, it's over. But no, it wasn't over. Because a few stops later, he sits next to me again. So now I'm like, this person is either insane or a fucking moron or an asshole. And honestly, I don't really give a shit which, but I turned to him and I said, do you have a problem? And yes, I was highly irritated, highly agitated that morning, really in the need of some great old therapy, really ready to just box and fight with my feelings and be like, let's do this. Let's handle this. Let me fight a human being first. Because I'm so like, what's wrong with you? So I said, do you have a problem? And he goes, because, you know, in Sweden land, if you say, do you have a problem? That's like, I'm going to fight your mom, your grandma, your daddy, your dog, and then drown you all in the river. So he's thinking I'm completely insane. Maybe he had just noticed I was a clown. I don't know. He was on his phone a lot. I don't really give a shit what was wrong with him. OCD on your phone. You gotta take a shit and you're not thinking clearly. Very relatable. But like, fuck you at this point. Because I have anxiety. You know, I have my own problems. And I don't need some person sitting next to me and then getting up and moving and then sitting next to me again. I don't need those kind of problems in my life. So he goes, and I was like, problem? And he's like, and at that point it was my stop. So I just stared at him, gave him like, you know, the dagger eyes the whole time. As I was getting off the bus, almost tripped and busted my ass giving him those eyes, but I don't regret it because people like that need to be stopped. I'm sorry, but this is a klepidemic, not in Sweden. This was a one-off. But when I was in Clamerica, this happened all the time. You know, usually I wasn't riding public transportation because in Los Angeles, California, it sucks ass. But, you know, I did sometimes, very rarely, but sometimes, and, you know, you go to the movie theater and it's basically empty and, like, there's that one weird person who sits right next to you. Why? Are you taking my DNA to go put it in a cloning machine? I understand that I'm a attractive woman. Maybe you want to clone me, but ask for my consent first. I don't want this clenergy in my life. I'm tired of it. I am so tired of people being entitled and thinking that they can sit next to me. Me! Who do you think you are? And this isn't about like me as in like, oh, I'm Lil Lunchbox. No, this is about, I'm a human being. This goes to all of you out there who have ever had this happen to you. Don't let them do this to you. Take a stand. Look them in the eyes and say, har du problem? Or do you have a problem? I don't even know if that's really how you say that in Swedish. I might have been like some crazy clown with broken Swedish, maybe. I don't really care because he was a crazy non-clown. I'm telling you, people love to go on and on and on and on. Oh, clowns are terrifying. The normies are the ones who are really, really breaking down society. They're the people who do weird shit like that. Who do that shit where you want to go, get something at the grocery store, like someone standing in front of the shelf and you want something, and instead of saying excuse me, you stand behind them like this. Those people are a danger to society. Not clowns, but normies. People who do weird shit that is for some reason socially acceptable in their minds. I know it's not socially acceptable to be a clown. I just don't care. I'm not shocked when people stare at me. I'm not like, oh my God, wow, they're staring at me. Oh my God, this has never happened before. No, this guy probably does this shit all the time, but that was like groundbreaking for him because someone finally confronted him. What's wrong with you? Do you have a fetish for annoying people? Do you get off on sitting next to warm bodies? I need to understand why people sit next to people when there are open seats. I need to know. If you do this, explain and then delete yourself from the Clinternet. You thought I was gonna say something else, didn't you? No, it's not that serious. But it is pretty serious, so consider going to therapy. Sorry, it just feels so good to get that out because I've really been holding that one in. I really am not a huge fan of people in general. I like people to leave me alone when I go out in public. I don't want to make eye contact with you. I don't want to share a conversation with you. I don't want to talk about the weather or your kids or what's going on down the block. I don't care. That's why I club Sweden, because most people don't make small talk. They don't look you in the eye. The neighbors make sure no one's in the hallway when they go to run their errands. We don't want to run into each other. We respect each other's personal space and boundaries. So it really took me off guard, caught me off guard rather, when this Swedish person apparently decided to be a clidiot. So, stay in your lane and stay away from me is basically the too long, didn't watch, or whatever the cluck you want to call it of this clidio. Stay away from me unless you want to get guts. Anyway, so follow me on Instagram and Twitter, which I never post on. I never, ever, 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 ever post on Twitter. But it would be cool to have followers so I can pretend that I'm someone important, And my Clinstagram is Clamazing if you want to see my Claycup looks. It just amazes me how many people aren't following me on Clinstagram, I have like 50-something thousand followers on Facebook and like only 5,000 on Clinstagram. What is going on with that? And also petition to change the name to Clinstagram because I think it honestly sounds better. Clyde G, I think sounds better than IG. If this is on YouTube, I have like maybe 4,000 followers. I don't really know these days, but so that adds up actually. If you're on YouTube, don't feel obligated to follow. You're doing your part. But people on Facebook, what are you doing? You're not doing your job. I'm really gonna start promoting myself more because I'm a clutiful and wonderful woman and people need to hear about me and my struggles and my life, and these important messages about staying the hell away from people. Just stay away from people. Lock yourself in your house and don't talk to anyone unless they talk to you first. That's the moral of the story, folks. Have a class day, don't let the claters get you down, and don't be afraid to call a clitch out when they're being a click-ass trick. A trick-ass. A click-ass. I guess I meant trick-ass clitch. The Klingo gets very confusing, but you know what I meant.